If it's your job to take out the trash, this episode's going to really hit home for you. Humans aren't the only ones who make waste. Any sort of leftovers are waste, like flowers dying at the end of the season or trees dropping their leaves. There are messy carnivores who don't clean their plates and other animals that drop other stuff. So what happens to all of it? Let's find out in this episode all about decomposers. It turns out that all of the stuff that grosses us out is actually full of energy for organisms like worms, some insects and fungi, and bacteria. These organisms, called decomposers, break apart dead organisms into simpler materials, making nutrients available to primary producers. Decomposers play a critical role in the flow of energy through an ecosystem. All living things need energy to survive. Decomposers are living things too, and since they need energy to live, they play a part in every food chain or food web. But where do they belong? Energy enters the food chain from the sun. Producers create their own food using energy from sunlight and other chemicals. Consumers get their energy by eating producers and/or other consumers. Scavengers and decomposers get their energy by eating dead plants or animals. Plants, like this pear tree, are producers, making their own food from the sun's energy and chemicals and other nutrients from the environment. The tree stores some of that energy in its fruit. Once a pear ripens, it falls to the ground where it gets partially eaten by a lucky squirrel. Some of that energy from the pear is transferred to the squirrel. That squirrel is then not so lucky and gets scooped up and eaten by a hawk. And the energy from the squirrel is then transferred to the hawk. So where are the decomposers at? They can show up anywhere along the food chain where there's waste to break down, like however much of the pear the squirrel didn't eat, or the squirrel or hawk droppings, or the indigestible remains of the squirrel that the hawk regurgitates. Decomposers break those things down into smaller parts, like nutrients and other chemicals. Those chemicals go down into the ground and are taken up by plants so they can use them to make more energy. Then the process starts all over again. Decomposers are the link that keeps the cycling of nutrients in motion. If you're still here liking this video, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Most decomposers are microscopic organisms, including protozoa and bacteria. These guys are tiny but mighty. They reproduce at lightning speed. A single bacterium could potentially produce about 5 billion offspring in 12 hours. Other decomposers are big enough to see without a microscope. They include fungi and invertebrate organisms, sometimes called detrivores, which include earthworms, termites, and millipedes. Fungi, these guys, are important decomposers. Some kinds of fungi look a little bit like plants, but they're not. Fungi do not contain chlorophyll, the pigment that green plants use to make their own food with the energy from the sun. Instead, fungi get all their nutrients from dead organisms that they use special enzymes to break down. They absorb some of these substances for growth, but the rest are utilized by other organisms, like plants. Worms, like this guy, digest rotting plants, animal matter, fungi, and bacteria as they swallow soil. The waste that comes out of their body at the other end contains important minerals and nutrients ready for plants to absorb. Millipedes and fly larvae do a similar process at different rates. Today, we are going to make a decomposition jar. Here is what you will need. A jar with a lid, something organic to decompose. I'm choosing to do peppers. They have a bunch of seeds on the inside here because we want to see what happens after the pepper decomposes, if anything grows. And soil or dirt. If you use soil from your backyard or even some compost soil, it's going to have way more microorganisms, bacteria, maybe even some fungi in there. First, you're going to add the soil or dirt or compost, whatever you choose, to the bottom of your jar. Now that we've made a mess and gotten our dirt and soil inside of our jar, now it's time to add our food items. You want to push your food items a little bit into the soil, just so all of these microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, whatever's kind of living and hanging out in the soil or dirt has more surface area to attach to or to consume or grow into. Now, add a little bit of moisture to really get things started. Place your lid securely on your jar and don't open it. I know you're gonna want to, just don't. Okay, you want to place this somewhere where you're going to see it, but it won't be in the way. In the description below, there's a link to an observation journal that you can use alongside this activity. What's gonna happen? I can't believe that worked. The next time you're out in nature, look around, see if you can spot any decomposers. And if you want to learn more science, you can check out this video next.